Welcome to Dose with Grace. My name is Aarti and I hope you're taking very good care of yourself. In this wonderful and very pious Purushottam Mass, which is also in this year coinciding with the Shravan month, let us begin this video with the chanting of these very powerful, blissful, and energetic Mahamantras. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you for joining back. I'm Aarti and you're watching Dose with Grace. Today is especially a very pious day of this very, very divine month. And because today is Ekadashi, it's falling on the Saturday, which is the day of Shiva. And this is the month of Shravan. And this month of Shravan is extending this year to two months almost, instead of 1 month, because there is Adhik Maas or Purushottam Maas, which is there coming after 3 years. So this wonderful coincidence, and on top of it Ekadashi today, makes it a very, very powerful day for prayers, meditation, doing something more in the serving of divinity. And what can be better than talking about the grace of God? You know, sometimes I also feel that what is there to share? Everyone knows everything. There are so many books, there are so many sources through which people can learn. So what is the need for me to share this? And that is why I think I held back from maybe starting a YouTube channel many years ago, when there was a page by the name Dose with Grace on Facebook that I had created. Just this shyness that what do I know that I need to share? I think whatever I know is so readily available for people to know as well. But then when I ask these questions many times to me, the thoughts, the ideas, the sharings that were coming, or the realizations or the experiences that I was encountering, I realized that not everyone may be having those experiences. And as I listen to other people's experiences and I feel inspired by them, I feel moved by them, what if they would have thought the same as me? That what is the need to share? So sometimes we share because we feel that there is a need to share, but sometimes we just share because it is just something that I have and I just want to put it out. If it makes sense, nature will find its own place in the hearts and homes of those who would need it or who are inviting it. And if it doesn't, then so what? My sharing is a reward in itself. So therefore, on today's topic especially, I would like to share with you a concept of free will and God's grace. I'm not going to go into the details as mentioned in our scriptures of what is free will and what is God's grace, but I will just give you a very humble perspective from what I see around in my life, and put that in the form of a story and share with you. And who doesn't like to listen to stories? So here is a beautiful story. Let's imagine that there are two people and they are living their life just like you and I. Now, we all understand that whenever we are having a good phase of life, we think that, this is a phase, this is which I'm enjoying, and it's so wonderful. And of course, at that time, we see people around us who are probably struggling with something which we are not struggling with. And then there comes a time that we are struggling with something, and we see around people who are having a great time. They seem to be at least having a great time in their life. And we start wondering, why am I only suffering? Why there is so much of doubt and uncertainty, or so much of struggle in only my life? Why not in others' life? Because when I meet my friends, they're only talking good things about their life. So when we reflect upon this, and I'm pretty sure you're having the similar experience when you sit with your friends, or when you visit them, or when they visit you, or even in your office as colleagues, when you sit, you see that everyone's life goes through phases. If you've had friends for long enough to know their phases, or if you have really reflected upon your own life in a very calm and a very unattached manner, in a very detached manner, more like an observer, you might have seen that, like for example, if you detach yourself from your life and you look at your life from here, you will see there are so many phases, right? This much you're on the same page. So let's, for the sake of this story, divide these phases into different flavors that we have in life, because we always say different phases reflect different flavors of life. So let's say the phase which is very full of opulence, the phase where everything just happens for you. You're getting promotions, you're rising, you're getting things. You thought you want to buy a car, and you bought a car. You wanted to go for some trip, and you booked a trip, and so basically this is the phase we refer to when you probably say this is the high phase of my life. What flavor do we associate with that high phase of life? We associate it with the flavor of sweets, desserts. They're exquisite, they're very delicious, but at the same time they're considered to be a delicacies. And let's say the bad phase of life, which is the struggle phase of life, can be probably compared to bitter taste of life, where we find things like which are bitter to taste, difficult to keep chewing, because you want it to just end. Even if it is 2 minutes of chewing, something that you don't like, it feels like eternity, versus a very yummy thing that you really love. You feel that it just finished. Theory of relativity. So now we've established that let's compare moments or feelings to flavors, or phases of life to the flavors of life. And there are two people we will take for the sake of story. So let's say Ram and Shyam. So let's say Ram goes through that whole week of flavor tasting. This whole week is representation of life. So the first, or maybe period of 2 months, let's say period of 2 months. So every week represents a certain flavor. So he begins with a flavor, maybe because of his own karmic collection of what you call is the prarabdha karma. Starts the week with the week of the flavor which has sweetness. So he begins with sweetness and desserts and delicacies, has a wonderful childhood. So now I will not be referring to metaphor here. I will refer just to the story. So to understand truly the underlying meaning behind it. So he begins with one flavor. He enjoys it, because when God serves you something, he serves you in abundance, in great variety, and in great quantity. So you can pick and choose the quantity you want, and you can pick and choose the things that you want from that platter, from that buffet. from that variety that God is offering. God doesn't ask you to choose a particular thing, but God does offer you to choose from a great spread. So Ram enjoys and has great fun trying all the delicacies and has a go at every single dish that is on the platter, day after day after day, and he is enjoying these wonderful flavor of life. And by the end of third or fourth day, because of consuming so much of it, he is feeling that he is having a stomach upset. He's not able to eat anymore, and he is little upset with God, and he says, God, what have you done? I am not well. I just cannot eat. And he immediately consults doctor, and he asks the doctor, what is happening to me? I wake up in the morning and I have a very nauseating feeling. And the doctor says, you've got almost like food poisoning. You have probably, your system is not able to take any more food. So you must give yourself a lot of rest, especially in terms of eating, and take curd rice. That will probably soothe your body, and also it will give some relaxation to your digestive system. Now it makes a lot of common sense, but Ram is furious. He was so taken by the spread and the opulence of that was put across to him, and it becomes so used to it day after day after day, that suddenly when things have come where he, not out of his own will, but out of the effects of what he has done, he is not able to consume anymore. He gets very vindictive. He becomes very upset. He is not able to realize that the stomach upset is not caused by God. God has rather given him a great platter and a whole week of opulent food, because this is the flavor of life he's chosen to enjoy. However, the choice of selection of items that he's consuming, the quantity of them, is his free will. God is not interfering in that will of him to pick up how much he wants to take for his plate, to even consult him on how much he should look at the food. The whole consuming of through senses is completely his own will. So the next day, so what happens? Ram is really upset. He's on the bed, probably having a very bad vomiting feeling. He's probably also developed some fever, is lying in the bed taking medicines, and is not even able to go out and continue with his day's work. But the next day, like the day before, great spread of wonderful food arrives. Now this food is making him rather irritated, rather frustrated, and so much angry. He is now feeling so angry that there is things around me, but I can't have them. I rather have to be sitting in one corner and abstaining from all of this, and rather I'm only able to consume a simple, very watery curd rice. That is all, or a khichdi, or a porridge that we call in the Western world. That's all I'm able to consume. So why is God showing me so much variety and showing me so much taste around me? It's annoying me. So unfair God is to me. And look at others. Look at my friend. They are eating so well. God gave them such great appetites. God gave them such great digestion. He has taken that away from me. Then what is the use of all of this? And he is in so much sorrow and so much grief. And in next 2 days, he's actually not able to consume anything. And he falls more and more sick. This agony and this pain of not being able to enjoy what is in front of him, not being given that privilege, not having enough appetite, makes him sad. And then he says, "This was such a good phase of my life. What has happened? Why did God make even this phase so bad? I just don't understand God. Why me?" And then this part of the story ends. Now, just like every week, there is a platter or there is a flavor of life or flavor of food to say will be served to even Sham. So let's say what Sham does. So again, the week starts and Sham is served amazing spicy food. He loves spicy food. So he served amazing spicy food from all over the world. Great delicacies with great, effects and in great variety. The quantity, of course, is also not a limit. It is totally up to him. So it is like opulence in all its forms in food. However, Sham is a very different temperament. What he thinks is that yes, there is a lot of yummy and tasty mouth-watering food, and it's the fragrance of it is making me go really drool. However, if I take too much, I may fall sick. So let me consume little less than what I really want, and let me practice a little bit restraint. So from day one, he consumes, but in a limited quantity, in moderation. And he continues like that for another few days. Now, by the fourth or fifth day, he has reached a state where he has tasted some variety of food. However, his health is in perfect condition because he was very careful to not overconsume, but to also try some, to an extent that he had become really restrained and made sure that under no circumstances he gives in to his temptations. So now what happens? Now he is towards the end of the week, towards the end of the time when all this wonderful platter that is God is serving him is going to come to an end, because like he knows, another flavor will be served to him. So he feels, so many days this wonderful platter was served by me to God, served by God to me rather. And I became so restrained in my behavior that I actually didn't consume most of it. I was so particular. Whereas my other friends had a go at it. They tried almost everything. They had a great time. And in fact, they benefited the most from this phase. They didn't leave anything on the table. They at least tried everything. Should I also have a go at it? Did I make a mistake by actually abstaining from most of it? What was my gain? What was the use of this opulence when I didn't use it? I became so disciplined. I became so contained in my behavior that I actually let this whole phase pass as if it had never come to me. Yeah, the benefit of it is that I am healthy. Definitely, it has benefited me in this way. I have not fallen sick, but I am feeling very, very empty for not having consumed it when I compare myself to others who have really consumed what was offered to them. They didn't deny it. I kept denying, and today I feel that I have sacrificed a lot. And I don't think it has served me very well, being of such a sacrificial nature. And he is repenting and repenting and repenting. As the time is passing, he is literally feeling frustrated and angry at himself. And then he says, "God, what did you do? Why did you make me so self-restrained? It was not healthy for me to not have anything. Almost everything I just let it go. Whereas my friends truly consumed a lot. And when I look at them, they are very happy. I'm not happy because I feel that all this phase has just gone without my actual making any benefit from it. Why did you not give me that ambition? Why did you not give me that appetite to consume? Because you gave me a free will. Why did you not give me an ability to use that free will to have as much as I should have? And then he is starting to feel the effects of this thought process in his body. And he's not feeling good. He's feeling really upset and he's not able to consume any more food. So he calls his doctor and says, I don't know what's wrong. And the doctor says, looks like you've fallen ill. Maybe not physically, but your psychology is affecting your organs. Why don't you do one thing? You have two choices. If this is where you're feeling very low, why don't you go ahead and take whatever you want? And maybe that will make you feel better. Or else, why don't you continue taking more rest and give some rest to your mind so that you don't fall more sick? Now Sham has already feeling the suffering of not having consumed enough. So he goes rampant in the next few days and consumes and overconsumes everything that is available and still falls sick. Now what happened in these two stories? Both Ram and Sham were served something wonderfully and in great abundance by God. One blamed God for over-consuming and not giving him that wisdom to know when to stop or to practice self-restraint. The other one blamed the God for having given him too much self-restraint and not given him the hunger for the appetite to over-consume, and he felt all that was put to him in this life or in that week in terms of food was wasted. Now let's look at both of them if they have the right way of thinking, the more dharmic way of thinking. What if Ram would have thought, it's the 5th day and I'm having so much trouble in my stomach. Looks like I have overconsumed what God has given me. I know He has given me a lot on my platter. I know I have great variety. But maybe all this was to test my free will. The free will is my own. It is not governed by God. That is one thing that He has given to me that I can exercise on my own. Now, did I use it or did I abuse it? I think I did not really use it well. So next 2 days, let me consume less. Let me have curd rice as suggested by my doctor. Let me be grateful for the 5 days of feast that I had and use that as a great memory to enter into the next flavor of my life next week. Because He also knows that every week the flavor of life will change. The flavor of food will change. So I have to be fit to be able to consume even for next week, or else I will die. To be able to use every single flavor that God has designed for me, I must know when to harmonize my body, when to take a back step. If I've overconsumed, I can reduce the consumption, and then I will become harmonized. My body will become harmonized, and then I will be able to enter the next phase with the same health as I entered my first phase. I'm grateful to God for such a wonderful spread that fed me in so many days before. I have been satisfied, contented with this flavor so much that now my body wants to take a rest from it. I am grateful to God for teaching me this wonderful lesson that I may use when the next time this phase comes in my life. Now, for Sham, let's see if he thinks in the dharmic way of life. He maintained very high self-restraint, and that is what became the cause of his agony towards the end of the 5th day. What if he says, instead of being upset with God, what if he says, I am so grateful to God for blessing me with this virtue of self-restraint, because of which today I am at perfect health. However, seems like I have not been able to fully enjoy the grandeur and the splendor of the variety that God has presented to me in this flavor. So in the last 2 days, maybe I can try and taste little more and enjoy this variety. Maybe try the things that I haven't tried in moderation to be able to feel more fulfilled and contented before entering the next flavor of food that will be offered to me in the next week. I'm satisfied, I'm contented, and whatever little feeling I have that I should have taken more, I have 2 more days to go at it. I'm grateful to God for this wisdom that has come to me at this time, just before this phase gets over, so I can make the great use of this flavor time and enter my next phase in a state of contentment, fulfillment, and great value of self-restraint that has kept me healthy and peaceful. Now imagine, just the right thinking can make you understand that everything is a grace of God. He is kind, He is loving, He is nurturing, and He is always there for our highest good. It is the way we think sometimes during our problems, during our moments of ignorance, we start blaming. So just like this story, you can relate it to these phases of flavors of food, to phases of times in your life. There are happy times, there are sad times, there are trying times, and then there are very, very great times where everything is going for you. Do we need to be completely self-restrained, or do we need to be overindulgent? Even in sadness, indulging in sadness during the sad phase is not right. Maintaining a restraint, maintaining that detachment, whatever is happening to me is happening to everyone in a cycle. It is not something that God is punishing me with. And most importantly, whatever I am doing is what is resulting into the consequences. So taking that self-responsibility of the free will and understanding that in everything there is a grace of God. God loves us all equally. God blesses us all equally and gives us equal opportunity to exercise our free will. If only we have wisdom, understanding, and a little bit of detachment to really use this wonderful gift of free will by God. In this wonderful auspicious month of Purushottam Mas and Shravan and today's Ekadashi, I hope you all will take time to reflect upon your different seasons of life till now and see what are the things that you indulged in, and understand and learn from your own life how to live better and how to have a much more fulfilled, loving and graceful existence. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.